tried to be a normal talk show once. Worst 2 minutes of our lives. The Kate Daly Show starts now.
I have a delivery for Clark W. Grisman. I was supposed to deliver it yesterday, but it fell between the seats. I didn't see it.
What is it? It's from my company. My bonus.
Open it, Clarky. Open it.
Yeah, I hope it's a fortune.
Clark, what's wrong? Honey. It's bigger than you expected? Smaller? What is it?
It says here, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Oh, good.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Oh, you know I had to do it, you guys.
Oh, that was so good. I love that.
Still laugh at that all these years later. That clip, that's one of my favorite movies is Christmas Vacation, or the Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
And we watch it every year, and I still laugh at that clip because here we are all these years later. Epstein is still, look at the story that keeps emerging from Epstein. And by the way, he's only one of many that are the collector of honeypots and everything else. All the dirt, all the blackmail. He's one of many. He's not just the one. And they're kind of making it look like he's got all the goods. He's only one. So there you go. But it'll be interesting. You know, the betting sites, they have political betting sites, and they're betting that President Trump will do something by the end of the year as far as releasing the files. And there's actually a bet on that. There's millions on that bet. Anyway, it's kind of an interesting story, but not the story we're telling today. Today, I actually have a special guest for you today, and Scott Palmer is such a interesting, fascinating guy to listen to, and he has his own podcast. It's called Watcher Palmer, and this actually focuses a little bit more on being LDS and the LDS culture and the Book of Mormon and things like that. Yet at the same time, he just got back from the Middle East, and I so want to talk to him because of we have Christmas, we have the stories of Christ. We're all thinking about those things, hopefully getting away from politics. But here's a really good chance to kind of focus on what's happening in the Middle East right now and what's going on in these historical sites in these regions, and some of the insights and things that people don't know when you're doing your travels and you take tours over there and whatnot. I can't wait for the audience to hear some of these things because they're so kind of new things to hear about what it's like to go and travel in the Middle East right now, especially Israel. So I can't wait. Welcome to the show, Scott Palmer. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. It's so fun to be with you. I've got to tell you first how I found out about you.
I can't hear your audio.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
What happened? Let me see.
We had it.
The second we went live, I
can't hear me.
So what we're going to do, I know I've got him queued up, so I don't think that's the problem. I don't know that it's on my end, but this is what we're going to do. I actually sent him a different link, and I'm going to tell him to go hit that different link, and I will bring him on a different way. Oh, wait a minute. Go ahead.
You got me?
I got you now.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
It's on my end. It was on my end completely. I'm so sorry about that. So welcome to the show. Scott Palmer, how are you?
Thank you. On your show, I got to, before we get into Israel and the Middle East, I have to tell you how I found out about you and your show.
Okay. Hey, I'm game.
This goes back a little bit, but one of the biggest fights I had with
Where'd you go?
And what?
Okay. You know what? Okay. So hopefully for some reason the connection today is just not working. So I gave him a different link. So I think he's going to be joining this other link. And let me go ahead and go there right now because I feel so bad. Sorry about that. Usually we don't have these kinds of issues here. So I don't know why we're having such a bad internet connection. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. I think he's going to talk a little bit about the shot and about some of these some of these current issues. I think this will be really kind of fascinating, and then we'll get into a little bit more about Israel and what it's like over there to basically travel. And I think it's going to surprise people a little bit. There's some things that I think I didn't know anyway, so I kind of find those rather fascinating. And then I can't wait to hear. I know he's going to tell me how he found me. So this is going to be because I don't know the story on this. So this is going to be kind of interesting for me as well. So I can't wait for that. So. I am going to wait for him for just a few minutes, but boy, this will be fun. This will be so fun today. There's just so much, to talk about. There's so much. And I just love the fact that we have these kinds of guests that can come on because, well, they're fun. It's just fun. What can I say? Just a blast. And I also just want you guys to know how grateful I am for you. I'm really grateful. And your listenership and even when I'm censored, here we are, doing this today. So I always love that too. And this is such a great time of the year. It's been kind of a weird year, but it's a great time of year. So, all right. So I've got you back on. Okay. Whoops. And he's gone. So that's the craziness of being live. What can I say? I had him on and now he's gone. Let me go ahead. I'm going to send him a quick text and let's see. Hold on. Can't do two things at once. Okay. So a lot of headlines, a lot of things. I did the deep dive yesterday on what's his bucket? Elon. And another deep dive, just to kind of point out some of the crazy, some of the nuts things that are about his whole entire background. But I do want to say that there are things that are so obviously in front of our face that I don't know that you can just ignore them. And they want us to like personalities and then not like personalities, not like personalities. And honestly, it's just not about that. So it's about really taking a good hard look. But listen to yesterday's show for that.
Okay, I'm back on.
Okay, excellent. There we go. Okay. All right. So how did you find me? This will be really fun. I can't wait. Are you there?
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. We got you.
I'm connected.
Okay. We're good. There
Okay.
you go.
All right. Well, so good to be with you. Okay. So
You too.
what happened was shortly after 9/11, one of my sons and I got in one of the biggest fights we've ever been in.
Oh, no.
We hardly ever got in any fights, but
Oh,
we
no.
got in a big argument about 9/11, telling me about 9/11. And my son, who was military and served in Iraq after, so this was a few years after 9/11, he said, "Dad, you don't understand. There's things that we're just not being told." And he tried to tell me. Well, I kind of stuck mainstream. And then about the time that Trump ran for president the first time,
Okay.
my other son introduced me to Alex Jones.
Oh,
Listen
okay.
to Alex Jones.
All right.
Because my two sons were teaming up. I didn't know. They were teaming up to try to educate me.
Okay.
So I started listening to Alex Jones, and lo and behold, you were a guest host
Oh,
on Alex Jones.
okay.
And I heard you for the first time. I was like, and I didn't know who you were. I didn't know where you were from. I didn't know anything of your background, but I just went, dang, I believe
Really?
what she has to say. So I became a fan of yours through Alex Jones.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I did not know
Yeah.
this. Okay.
And then I started I really started digging into a lot of this stuff, and I had to apologize to my sons because I was just this old stick in the mud, believing everything that I was being taught, and I really realized how much we've been lied to. So then came COVID and everything else, and we can talk about that later. But I was actually in Israel with my son, the one that helped me wake up. We were actually in Israel when COVID broke out, and we got out of Israel with about 5 hours to spare. Otherwise, we were going to have to stay in Israel. So it was pretty crazy, and I can tell that story later.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how I got to know you through Alex Jones.
That's
and
crazy.
I just feel.
Yeah. I love that though. I like that you told me that. I wouldn't have guessed that. So
blessed now to be on your program.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you. I really do. And I love the work that you do, and you're really frank and I candid, and I always appreciate that about you. So your podcasts are really fascinating, really interesting, and I really encourage people to go check it out. Watcher Palmer. It's just, they're fantastic. So I love that. So
Thank you.
So with all the information coming out on the shots, and I'm hoping that people finally get it, finally realize that you don't need their stuff. You don't need their shot. Their shots are pretty dangerous. What's your take, like, overall? Are you
My
there?
goodness,
Yeah.
I used to get every vaccine.
Oh,
Anytime there was a flu shot, I would get it. We lived in Park City for most of our time, and we'd think, oh, we got the film festival coming up. We better get every jab we can get to protect us from everybody who's coming in. That's what that's kind of the thought. All of our children, I came from that realm.
Right.
And then, like I said, when it broke out, and the news started spreading, my son and I were in Israel, and we witnessed a lot of places shutting down because of COVID. Israel was probably the craziest place to be, because they did some extreme things, because they think everyone and they have a right to think that. We come home, and the idea was that we needed to quarantine for at least 2 weeks because we were out of the country. Well, personally, I didn't mind that at all. I was like, yeah, I'll stay home for 2 weeks. That's fine. And then it was, to slow wear a mask, to slow things down. The vaccine hadn't come out yet. So I thought, okay, I'll wear a mask for a week or two. And then everything just started hitting me like this. We're being lied to. This whole thing's a lie. These masks don't work. Everything's a lie. My wife in turn started studying and really, really, really looking into everything about it. And we just I became so focused on, first off, not wearing a mask. And I got shamed in all kinds of places. And when the vaccine, that part came out, I was so against it. And I haven't had virtually no medication and no vaccines ever since that time.
Really?
And I'm a real preacher against them.
Good. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I really am.
Because I think it's pure poison. That the other vaccines that we used to think are safe, I don't think any of them are safe anymore.
Wow.
If they ever were.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming.
Well, I mean, that's actually, that's a long train ride for a lot of people. They don't want to acknowledge the whole entire program. So I'm actually glad that you are, because a lot of people resist that. They think it's just the COVID shots that were the problem. And I'm like, oh no, the whole entire thing. So I'm glad to hear that. The more we can expose, the better.
And big pharma,
I'm getting like every other. I'm getting long pauses in between.
Agreed. And in between
Okay.
what you find out.
Okay, so on Zoom, I'm getting a lot of spaces where I can't hear you. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe you should hang up on Zoom and try back again,
Okay.
or try
Okay.
back on StreamYard if you could do that. Either one.
Okay.
Let's try it again.
Give it a try.
Yeah, thank you. Love that. So yeah, technical things, right? Technical issues. So gosh, it's insane, isn't it? Um, Having to still deal with all this stuff all these years later. 15 years of technical issues and problems is a little nutty, but it's my reality. So there you go. But he has so many interesting things to say, and I don't want, I don't, out of frustration, I don't want you to leave the podcast. I want you to stay on because I want him to talk about Israel and so forth. I think this is going to be really important today, especially leading up to Christmas. You guys know how much I love Christmas, right? And Karen says, yeah, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it is. It is the most wonderful time of the year. I love it. This year's been a little harder for me, and I'm not quite sure why. It's been a little harder to get in the spirit of things. And I don't know. Is anyone else noticing that, or is it just me? I don't know. But it seems like it's a little tougher this year. Okay. Are you? Here we go.
Try it again?
Yeah, let's try it again. Let's try it again. I don't know what's going on.
I'm so sorry. I hope
no,
it's not
it
on my
is.
end.
It is what it is. It's what? It's life. And I've had these. You can't even imagine the amount of guests that I've had on that. A couple of them actually killed for things that they knew, but they came on the show and it was like technical difficulties, crazy amounts. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your travels because you just got back and I know all this is really, really fresh in your mind on Israel. What would we be surprised at? What surprised you when you started going over there? And actually, let me start with this. What is it like right now over there? Because I don't trust our news. I don't know when I never trust our foreign news ever. So I kind of want to know from you, what were you looking at? What surprised you, or what's the situation over there? Is there a lot of tourism right now?
So yeah, I just moved back. I also there in February of this year, and both times I feel totally safe there. No issues. I tell people I feel safer there than I do in most major cities in the United States. In certain cities, right? So
okay, Scott. Oh, you guys. All right, I'm gonna tell him to go back on Zoom. That wasn't working. I have no idea why this is going on. And usually it's always like the crazy part of this is that it always happens when we're live. So there's not much I can do about that. But we're gonna get this to work today. I promise you that. We are going to do it. We're gonna make it work. Okay, let me go back and I wish this wasn't the case. Okay, try Zoom. So there's a couple different platforms that we could use, but this is beyond. I know it's so frustrating for you guys. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, so are you there? Are you there? Well, let's see if that worked. Okay, I can hear you. You there?
Me.
Okay. All right. Can you say a few things?
what do we have going
What? Go ahead.
on here, Kate?
I don't know. It's like I have to laugh at it now.
At times and sometimes you're cutting out.
Okay. Let's talk Israel.
Hello?
Okay, you're there. So let's talk Israel. Are you there? All right. Are you there? My heavens. I know, you guys. Hang tight for just a second. You know what? Let me do this. I'll play this. This will be fun. Why not entertain you with some music until we get them on there? Okay.
Okay, I
All
can
right.
hear you now.
Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, let's try this again. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make it work. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So, let's talk Israel.
Okay, so Israel, for me, it's yeah. So this last trip, we first started in Egypt, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and it's awesome to kind of figure out Christian, Muslim, Jewish, and all these things, and everybody, whether you're in Egypt, Israel, or Jordan, which is the countries we traveled this last trip,
Right.
They're people. They have families. They're just like you and I.
Yeah.
It's not everybody hates each other, and not everybody is disagreeing with each other.
Right.
So one of the cool sites that I've wanted to see for some time that I haven't in Egypt in particular is a place called Old Cairo. Cairo.
Okay.
And this is a place that it's tradition. It's tradition.
Mm-hmm.
But it totally makes sense, is where Joseph, Mary, and young Jesus lived while they lived in Egypt. And it's been venerated by Knights Templar, Crusaders. It's been venerated by Helena, Constantine's mother. And these sites have been venerated. So there's some legitimacy to them, but you go there, you just feel a connection in the spirit. The land of Goshen, where we have Abraham, we also have Joseph, and all these connections biblically. So Egypt is really part of the Holy Land, if you think about it.
Okay.
And so much comes out of Egypt. So we start the trip in Egypt and get this basic connection. But because of things that go on, Egypt and Israel don't have an agreement to fly in between necessarily. So there's ways you can do it, but it's typically kind of hard. So we have to take a flight from Cairo after we visit many cool sites in Egypt, and then we fly to Athens, and then from Athens we fly into Tel Aviv.
Okay.
So there are some things that you have to do a little different, right, to get. But you get into Tel Aviv, and for me, I feel like I'm going home.
Right.
I feel like this is homeland for me.
Nice.
One thing that we might not be used to from America, from the United States, is so many young people walking around with semi-automatic rifles slung over their shoulders.
Right.
And some are in uniform and some aren't. But they have other than Orthodox Jews, it's mandatory for young men and young women to serve in the military, in the IDF, and the different branches of it. And so they're everywhere.
And they have that service, like they have to do that service, right?
To see that they're there to protect, right?
Right. They
have to do that service.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. In their youth. Okay. Couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right out of high school. And it's kind of similar to the LDS culture with the missionaries. It's not mandatory for missionaries, but it's kind of the same thing. And I think the young women serve for like 18 months and men are 2 years. Similar. It's
very similar. Yeah. Okay. I served a mission. I served a mission to Seattle. So
and right out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So Seattle, Washington. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you have that culture, you have that thing going on all through Israel, and you'll see that. Now, Israel is such a complicated thing because you have what the world calls the West Bank. I don't particularly like calling it the West Bank. I like to call it Judea and Samaria regions of Israel.
Okay.
That's the biblical, that's what the Bible calls it. You have Judea would be more of where Jerusalem and the southern part of it is, and Samaria is more the northern region of Israel. So Israel's about the size of the state of New Jersey. The whole land of Israel, about the size of the state of New Jersey, just
Small.
to give you kind of an idea of how it's small.
Really small. Yeah.
And it's and it's complicated because the most disputed piece of real estate in the whole world is the Temple Mount. Well, the Temple Mount, because of an agreement after the Six-Day War in 1967, the Temple Mount was actually granted or given to Jordan, the country of Jordan, to control it or police it. So the Temple Mount has its own police force, in a sense, from Jordan, the Jordanian police, which a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So you have, then you have the Palestinian Authority, and you have certain areas in Israel that are controlled by Palestinian Authority, Bethlehem being one. So when you go to Israel, the way I've done it a couple of different ways. I've gone there on my own, done my own thing. I've gone on a tour, regular tour, just as a guest, and I've also led tours. And when I've led tours, I've done it two different ways. I've just done it on my own and contracted with an Arab bus driver, and I'll tell you why I like to use Arab bus drivers.
Okay.
Or I've hired an Israeli guide company to kind of set everything up for us. That's the easiest way. But if you have a small group, sometimes you have more flexibility to do it a different way, and I'll tell you why. So if you have an Israeli guide, he can't go into Jericho. An Israeli guide can't take you to Bethlehem. Oh,
wild. Okay.
Because that's Palestinian control. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah. So I would have had no idea.
If you have a tour group and you're going to go from Jerusalem to Bethlehem, it's about 5 miles distance. Your Israeli guide has to stay back, and then you will meet another guide if you use that service that's Palestinian, and they could be Christian Palestinians, or they could be Christian Arabs, or they could be Muslim. But you have a guide that's just for Bethlehem area.
Wow.
And same with Jericho. Now, sometimes I like to just use an Arab Muslim bus driver.
Okay. Why?
And I have a great one that I love because he can get me in anywhere. He can go anywhere. He can go anywhere in the Jewish or the Israeli areas. He can go anywhere in the what the world calls the West Bank. I call it Judea and Samaria. He can go into those regions without any trouble. So, like, for instance, there's one city that I've only been able to get in there one time. Because the other times but it's the ancient city of Shechem, which is now Nablus, and it's where Jacob's well is.
Okay.
And also Jacob's bones were brought there, and his tomb, not Jacob, Joseph's bones were brought there, and his tomb is there. So it's very significant for us, for Christians and Jews to go there, but it's in a very conflicted area where you have the Lion's Den. It's a kind of a subgroup of Palestinian radicals that, they're doing all kinds of things all the time. And so it's just a tricky area. And some years you can get there and sometimes you can't. And there's a lot of places like that all through Judea and Samaria.
Interesting. I didn't realize it was so parceled out. That certain people literally can't go in. What happens if they do go in?
Yeah. And they have like A, B, and C areas,
What does that mean? A, B, C areas?
Well, I asked, so the ABC areas are different they're kind of a blend of like Jews and Muslims. Palestinians can be in an area, but it's controlled. Like Nazareth is an area that's tricky. It's almost all Palestinian, Muslim, some Christian, but a Jew can go there. An Israeli Jew can go there, but the government, the people, the town, it's not Jewish per se.
Okay.
So you have areas like that, but then you have certain areas, like I said, with Bethlehem and Jericho, that an Israeli Jew cannot go. So our guide, who was with us where we just got back from, I said, what would happen if you just went with us? And he said, well, 99% of the time, nothing. But that 1% of the time, I could end up in a prison.
Wow.
I could lose my life. And he goes, we don't take that chance. We just don't take that chance.
Just for going into the site that they're not allowed in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. It's pretty heinous.
Temple
Jeez.
Mount's example of a B, kind of a B area, because so the Temple Mount has several entrances to the Temple Mount, but Jews and Christians are only allowed to go through one specific gate for a 2-hour period, a couple of days a week.
Okay.
Muslims can go through any gate and 24/7 and go to the Temple Mount.
Wild. Okay.
A lot of people don't hear that.
Yeah.
Don't know that. One time I had a set of my scriptures with me, and I was, and I knew better, but I did it anyway. But I had them in my backpack, and you go through security to get onto the Temple Mount, and the Jordanian police, they said, you can't take these scriptures up on the Temple Mount. I said, okay. And I said, well, I'm not missing my chance to go. And they said, well, you can just leave them here. So I left them on top of this kind of locker. And I mean, you know how precious your scriptures are to you,
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, I was torn, but I left them unlocked, unsecured, just left them there. Had my 2-hour Temple Mount experience. And later I was able to find them. Now my wife was with me, and her scriptures were in her in there. Is it a guidebook? They asked that question. Is it a guidebook? And my wife said, yeah, it's a guidebook. And so she was able to take her scriptures up onto the Temple Mount.
No way.
Anyway.
Wow.
Men and women can't hold hands, can't touch each other. Women have to be covered. So you can't go up there and, your booty shorts and tank top.
Yeah.
You have to be very conservatively dressed and shoulders whatsoever. And they police that. You can't pray.
Wow. You can't pray. Interesting. Are you there? Did we lose you again? Uh-oh. Hopefully not. Did we lose you again, Scott?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm here. I'm
okay.
back now. Sorry. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
It just went blank for a second. Okay. So you can't pray. Like, you can obviously pray within your heart and mind, but you can't show any form of prayer. And the Jews love to do that. So now there has been a little slacking off on that, and the the Jordanian police aren't policing that quite as rigorously as they used to.
Okay.
So there's some things happening there, but it's just things to be aware of.
Yeah.
When you go.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. People don't realize how strict it is. I think, and there isn't a lot of tourism going on right now, right? So people are a little more afraid to get over there. Yes.
Yeah, and it's actually such a good time to go because of that.
Oh.
I've been there where the crowds are so big, and it's really hard to feel the spirit of an area. But when you go into the Garden Tomb area, or even the Holy Sepulchre, which are the two main sites where we think Christ was crucified and in first out of the tomb, there's two main sites. The Holy Sepulchre, that's more of the traditional Catholic and Orthodox Christian view. And then the Garden Tomb is the other site. I love to go both. But when it's crowded, it's really hard to feel the connection to
I would imagine
to what event took place there, when there's just millions of people, or thousands, let's say thousands of people. So the last two times I've gone, just recently got back, and then last February, it's been very quiet. Like to tell people, if the Israeli government says it's safe for you to travel there, it's safe. Now that's not to say that something might, could happen, but I've never felt threatened, never felt afraid.
Good.
Had some sirens go off one time. You seek shelter. You have places of shelter that you can go to, but typically it's good. And now's a really good time to go because of that.
Which like historical place, as you're going through your travels, which is the most, what was the most like, and I don't know if it's easy or hard to say this, but which one struck you as probably the most spiritual or the most on target for what it was representing? I mean, and preserved to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, which one would you say was like, oh, this is the one where I really felt, oh my gosh, this was the place?
So one thing I like to do is I like to tell the people that we have A sites and B sites and C sites in Israel. And the A sites is, we know for sure that this is where this happened. This right here is where Jesus walked. Right here is where this miracle happened. And then a B site would be somewhere close, somewhere in this area. This happened. And a C site is more of, this is a tradition. So an A site for me, and one that just touches me dearly, is the top of the Mount of Olives. It's called the Church of Ascension. It's not even a church. It's just a little tiny dome shrine, but it's been venerated for 2,000 years. But it's where Christ ascended, where he left his apostles, and where he promised that he will return. That's the site where he will plant his feet.
Wow.
When he comes for his second. And what I like to do is take a group of people, we start there, and then we make the descent down the Mount of Olives, where Christ made his triumphant entry. When we talk about the Passion Week or Holy Week, Palm Sunday, we know that Eastern Gate, that's where he came through. We go down the Kidron Valley. We go to these, I love doing this. I've only done it a couple of times, but there's a tomb on the Mount of Olives that has the tomb of Malachi, Hosea, and Zechariah. And so we open up and we read many of their scriptures. This is all on the Mount of Olives. At the end, towards the bottom, you come to the Garden of Gethsemane. I mean, the complete, all through that area.
Right.
So that's what I love that area. There's another spot on the southern side of the Temple Mount where there are steps that have been excavated pretty recently within the last 20 or so years that date back to the time of Christ. And there's a gate that went to the Temple Mount. It's been sealed off, taught on those steps. And the apostles later taught on those steps.
Wow.
And they've uncovered dozens and dozens and dozens of mikvahs. You can see them. They've been excavated on that south side that would come up from the pools of Siloam, and where they would cleanse. And then there was this pilgrimage path that led right to the Temple Mount. But this is where Pentecost would have happened, the day of Pentecost, because this is where they would have been baptized in these mikvahs, right by the temple, where the apostles were teaching. So I could go on. I'm sorry. But
no, I love it.
I get so excited about
well,
yeah.
These sites
but
are
Bethlehem.
Yeah, Bethlehem. I want you to talk about Bethlehem.
Bethlehem is one of the I know one individual that Bethlehem was her was everything to her.
Most important site to see, probably.
The most important site to see. Now, the traditional site, sometimes it's hard to visualize because of all the icons and just the covering. But to me, it's where it took place. But what I like to do is take people to what's called, so you go to the traditional site, you feel the spirit of it. I'll tell you one really quick story of Bethlehem. One time we were there, and we came out with our group and we sang "Oh Holy Night."
Ooh, wow.
And we had people from literally all over the world join us in singing that song. And tears, the spirit was so strong. And here's the cool thing is you have pilgrims from all over the world that come. When you go there, you're not, a Mormon or a Catholic or a Protestant. You're a believer in Christ, and you all come together. And I would say Bethlehem is that site that really, really brings that. But the Shepherd's Fields, we try to get our groups there to go, because that's where you would feel more of it. There's better wording the sheep there.
So amazing. So with Bethlehem, what is it? How would you describe it? What does it look like now? I mean, how populated, like that area, like what's there now?
So it's really interesting. Like I said, it's only 5 miles from Jerusalem, so it's mostly homes. It's mostly buildings. You feel like you're most in a city, especially at the traditional site. But just outside of that are open fields, and it's very rocky. If depends on what time of year you go. If you go in the spring, it'll be more green and more pleasant to look at. In the fall, it's pretty barren. But it's rocky, it's hilly, it's rugged country. So, but you can go up to, Herod had a palace that overlooks the fields of Boaz that when Ruth and Boaz met. So we go through that biblical story. It's so cool. And you can see all of Bethlehem. You can see the town or the city that's very populated and basically concrete and rocks, right? Everything's covered. But then just outside of that, you see the fields. And it's amazing because the Bedouins, or the nomadic shepherds, are still very much living their lives there. So it's easy to imagine everything. Another cool thing about Bethlehem that a lot of people don't understand or know about is Rachel's tomb. Rachel.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, that's very significant. because she's like our great great grandma.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from Ephraim or Manasseh, your mom was Rachel.
Interesting.
And her tomb in Hebron, where the patriarchs and matriarchs buried, she was buried on the roadside, giving birth to Benjamin. And that's in Bethlehem.
Right.
So there's so much significance to Bethlehem. We also visit a site that tradition is it's called the place of squatting. And it's just there was an old teen chapel built there. A lot of people felt that was the place where Mary gave birth. And there's you just have a bus driver pull you over on the side of the road and you go out into the field. You can see the kind of the octagon shape of a Byzantine chapel, which would have been, 300 or 400 AD.
Wow.
And so there's just so much to see in Bethlehem, and such a spirit to feel there.
Especially this time of year. I've had guests on the
Nazareth,
show. Go ahead. Nazareth, what?
I was going to say Nazareth is an interesting place because, again, you have the traditional site, and they have excavation of, because what you have in Israel and all over through Israel is you've heard of the word tell. A tell, which is a town or a city, but it's where we get the hotel where you stack up. So the more you get into the time period of Christ, and even before that, so they know where you go. So what they've done at the traditional site in Nazareth is they've excavated down. Archaeologists have done it professionally. And you can actually see where people lived at the time of Christ. And then they built like churches and structures on top of that, but you can still access underneath. So it's pretty cool. But they also, it's very close. People dress at the time period of Christ. They have sheep and goats. They have an olive press. They have everything there. They teach you all about life in Nazareth at the time of Christ. It's really something.
Wow. Amazing. I just the travels alone. I've had guests that have come on and it was a popular guest as well. It was a gentleman that wrote the book on the three wise men, and the proof offered that these existed, right? And that the travels lined up with the geography and with the timeline and all of those types of things. And obviously, if anybody does any research, you're going to know that Christ was not born on December 25th, as we all know. And there's a lot more we could talk about with that. But it was really, really cool to kind of get those stories about the wise men, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't understand that there's a little bit more proof to the stories than we realize if you really know that region, which I don't. I've never been over there. So it's always fascinating.
It really is. And it's hard to imagine some of these things. I mean, we know they're true. We know what happened. But when you get to go there and touch the soil, smell the air, feel the spirit of an area, it just...
Yeah.
Everything becomes more alive and it becomes more meaningful. At least that's how I am.
Right.
I know some people don't need that to feel it. I get that, but I'm one that I have to touch the ground.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm that way for sure. Yeah. And I think visiting at this time of year has got to be, just because this is the time we do celebrate his birth, which probably happened in the spring, but it's the time we do celebrate it. I'm sure that there's this extra dose of just kind of spirit felt there, I would imagine, right?
It's so powerful. It's so powerful. You'll walk places where certain things happened. You read the story as you're sitting or standing in that spot, and it just becomes so it just becomes a part of you that you can't let go. I'll tell you, over there, we actually got to the city of Shechem, which is between the two mountains, Ebal and Gezerim, I think is the blessing, the mountain of blessing and the mountain of curse. And in between those two mountains is where Jacob's well is. And just down from there, we stopped and we were looking out over the
Ooh, we're having
rocky side hill, and he said, "Are we having difficulty?"
A little bit. Finish what you're saying.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, finish what you're saying.
Okay. So I asked my son, I said, "What are you feeling right now?" And he goes, "I feel like I'm going home." And I said, "Well, let's pull out our book and see what's going on here." And so where we were standing was the trade route that later was called the Maris, the Via Maris, with the and Asia and Europe, and it was the main trade route. Well, this is where Joseph's brother sold him to the caravan heading to Egypt, and we were standing there. And so, if you're from the tribe of Joseph, through Ephraim, which my son is, and so am I, he said, "Dad, I'm home."
Wow.
This is where but that's the kind of things that happen to you when you get there. You have these insights and this connection that this really is, the promised land for the house of Israel.
Interesting. Wow. And because of what's going on with Palestine and Israel, the tensions, I can't even imagine what that feels like over there. I don't trust Israel's government at all, not even a little. And I think it's like every government now is so compromised. But it's not really a reflection of all the people, just like our government isn't a reflection of us. And I say that a lot just because sometimes people like to quote me as saying, that I'm obviously I get the labels that you can probably imagine, but that's not the case. I just separate them. So in that case, what was it like going over there and kind of getting a feel for these two sides right now that are kind of going at it? Okay, are you there? I still can't hear you. Scott, are you there? Darn it. Did we lose him again? This can't be. Oh, you guys. Okay. I remember I had McAfee on the air, and it was like this the whole time. It was so hard and
Can you
difficult.
hear me now?
I can now. Go ahead.
Okay.
So what were the
So
tensions like between the two countries? Between the two
Say that
peoples?
again?
The Palestinians and the
Yeah.
Israelis. What was the tension like over there right now? Anything that you observed over there that you want to share about that?
Anything? Are you there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're not connected.
I know. I'm gonna
There
probably.
now?
Yeah.
For some reason,
Yeah. Just if you want to just hit on the tension, if you just want to hit on the tensions really
hello?
fast.
Can you
Okay.
hear me
Nope.
okay?
You're
Okay.
there. Yep. Can you hear me?
Let's try it again. Maybe I can hear you. It just goes back and forth. But okay, so I felt some tension here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, everyone is just getting along, and
Interesting.
they're not looking for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I love when we communicate, but we have the Israeli guide and the Muslim bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mhm.
you can tell that there's a bit of disconnect between the two of them.
Mm.
But what we see on the news
Mhm.
is just hatred, and I don't see that. I don't see that.
Interesting. Okay. I'm glad that you kind of chimed in on that, because I think people are very much wondering about that, because yeah.
There's some tension. It goes on with, yeah. Okay. So the Gaza war is huge,
Mhm.
and it's every bit in everybody's life. And there's signs in the Jewish quarter that say, make Gaza Jewish again.
Mm.
You know, make Gaza Jewish.
Mhm.
So you're going to have stuff like that. You're going to have things like that. Now, we have some local people that are really, to me, I think they're making a big mistake in blaming Israel for everything.
Mhm.
You have this small country surrounded by people that don't want them to exist. Not everybody, but a certain amount of people that, you know, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Well, that what they're saying is there's no Jewish state. There's no they don't exist anymore. So I'm more pro-Israel, recognizing that there's so much corruption in, like you were saying, in every government, and Israel's no exception. Not agreeing with everything they do, but also recognizing biblical prophecy that there will be an Israel, and there will be for the children of Israel. And that, I can't deny that. I can't deny what the Bible says. So I look at it through a biblical prophecy versus what's going on from day to day and what government leader lied and all that. You got to recognize it, but I don't blame Israel for, and Jews in particular, for all my woes. I just don't. I don't do it.
I don't trust their government at all, but that's probably a totally different show. I really kind of, because of the audio problems, we're probably.
I know.
Well, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Because we're having so many audio issues that we'll probably end quicker than I wanted to today. And I'll have you back, and we'll fix those issues, and I'll have you back when we can have a proper conversation. Thanks, Scott. I really appreciate it. Actually, you can catch him on Watcher Palmer. So it's a great podcast, and you can get a little bit more explanation without all the audio issues, and I really, really do appreciate that about him. I'll tell you, it's frustrating because of all the things that have been going on, and mainly since the intelligence agencies have had their day, and they've been able to do what they do, and you know, the color revolutions and the takeovers of governments and inserting their guy, to do business. And there's just so many things like that. And this is why I do not trust Israel's government as far as you can throw it. So it's a tough one, because this has nothing to do with the people. It's more about the governments at play is really what I'm talking about. So and I'm with you. There was a comment that came across about biblical prophecy about Israel is not about the current country Israel, and I agree. And I was actually going to ask him about that, but the audio coming across is just too hard. But it's the gathering of Israel isn't necessarily, I think, based on the location, which by the way we talked about yesterday, Dr. Duke Pesta and I, because of World War II. I think one of the goals actually of World War II was to have the region, the location, the geography of Israel as a state, right? So that came out of, along with the UN, that came out of World War II, and I actually think that was a goal from the beginning. So there was a goal there, and we could do a lot more on that. I'll have some more guests about that, but I'll tell you, there's I think the misconceptions out there are truly when I think about the gathering of Israel versus the geography. So I actually will agree with that. Um, and we'll have him come back. I'm getting another question about the heifers and those types of things too, and we'll have him come back and address those things. And I so apologize that we're having such a big deal problem with the audio. It's so crazy. You think that we wouldn't, but there again, things happen. So of course, I can take some calls, but I did want to mention this. Over the weekend, Michael Burry, the guy, the real life guy of the movie The Big Short. I've been conversing in email with him for a number of years. Actually, I asked him to be a guest years ago, and he couldn't at the time, and because of some of the contracts he was in. And I just sort of randomly emailed him over the weekend, and bless his heart, he actually he actually wrote me right back. And this is the billionaire Michael Burry that bet against the housing market. Okay, knew the housing market was going to crash in 2008, 2009, and that's what the movie The Big Short's about. Well, I asked him. I said, so all of these articles about you, that they're all saying that you are saying that everything's going to end, like the stock market's going to crash very soon. And there's just a number of articles out there about you saying this. And so I thought I'd go right to the source and ask you. And he wrote back and he said, yeah, that's not that's not the case at all. They always deduce me to like a single sentence, and they never tell the whole story. And I kind of figured that was the case because our media is so bought and sold. But I just wanted to tell you that because it isn't true what they're saying about him saying the stock market's going to end. And he said, I feel like, yeah, there. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, you're going to make money, you're going to lose money, but I'm not saying that it's going to end tomorrow. And so he said, there probably will come a time, but it's not, like right now, I'm not saying that. And he gets so frustrated with the media. And at the end of his movie, see, Brad Pitt was one of the, I think the executive producers on that movie. And at the end of the movie, one of the correspondences we had back and forth, and it was quite lengthy actually, was when I was asking him about, was he buying up water rights? Because at the end of The Big Short, it says in text on the screen that he was buying up water rights because of an impending crash. And it was so interesting because I said, is that true? And he said, no. He said, not at all. He said that was put in there. And so he said, I don't get control over those things, but people love to say I'm saying things that I'm not saying. And he said, so no, that wasn't true either. So I just wanted to share that with you because I always think it's really good to go to the source if you can. And not everybody, I think, has him on speed dial. But I will say that it's always been very interesting to talk with him because he is very to the point. He's very, what's the word? And I really appreciate this about candid. He's super candid. Like he'll just be really blunt and candid. And I found that even in our earlier correspondence, I felt like, oh my gosh, that he's just kind of, who he is. He doesn't, I don't think there's any pretense there. And that comes across a little bit in the movie The Big Short. But Michael Burry, I even saw an article pop up again today on social media. I was like, again, saying that he's saying that it's going to crash. Do I think it is? I do think it will, but it won't happen now. I don't think it's right now. I actually think that things are going to keep going the way they're going right now for a little while. I don't see an impending crash within, a couple of months. So isn't it interesting how the media is allowed to do that though? They're allowed to, well, not allowed. They're basically told to do that. And I wish we had more truthful media. I really do. It gets really frustrating out there. And I know you're frustrated with it too. So I did want to kind of cover that and there's just so many things to cover in a show, but I was looking at some of the headline news and I thought, there's some interesting things. I'm going to give you the text line and the call-in line so you can call in 435 I'm live right now, so you can call in 435-680-2503. So 435-680-2503. I'm going to repeat that in a second so that you can actually type it to yourself in a text on your phone if you're on your phone. But you're welcome to call into the show right now. I'm happy to take your call and we can kind of hit on anything. So I was just oh man, there's just so many things I was looking at. Okay. The other one is people are also betting on the Time magazine cover, and most likely it's going to go to AI, which is a really interesting person of the year cover for Time. Whoever lands on Time is part of the club. And let me say that again. Whoever lands on the cover of Time magazine is part of the club if it's a person. When they're celebrating AI, they're usually doing it because they want to make sure and highlight what the thing is that they're trying to sell us next in propaganda. And I have found this to be true over and over again. So if you go look at the covers, you can actually do a Google search and you can find the covers. Everybody from Taylor Swift, Trump's on there. Everyone's on there. Okay. Any president of the United States is going to hit the cover of Time magazine. Why? Because they're controlled, because they're picked, because we don't have elections that are real. That's why. So on that cheery note, it's going to be kind of interesting as we hit the end of the year here, some of these end of the year things that happen that are kind of always something that we usually talk about on the show. But I did want to mention that. And also, man, there was something from yesterday and I'm trying to think, what it was. I did the deep dive on Elon, and there's also more on Gates. And there's a lot more on a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are front companies and front men when it comes to government-owned entities that they seek to try to tell us that they're private, but they're not. And I'm hoping that people actually really do figure this one out, because it really speaks a lot to the propaganda load and the brainwashing that we're under right now. It's actually pretty crazy. It gets pretty crazy. All right. And I also, sorry about this. I wish today's show was, I was a little bit more prepared. I actually thought we would have Scott on longer, because I really kind of wanted to get a little bit more into Israel, talking about Israel, Palestine, and some of those travels. One of the things that he did mention to me that it's very commercialized. I mean, you go into one of those sites, by the way, and you're looking at these sites, and it's there's a McDonald's, there's a Wendy's, and it's kind of off-putting because you don't expect those things to be there. And I don't know how many of you have traveled to the Middle East. I'm always curious as to what's going on the ground versus what the media says, kind of like the Michael Burry thing. It's like, I want to go right to Michael and ask him what's happening rather than try to take the media's word for it. Because I know that we're going to be told a lot of lies, just so many lies that it's getting really bad, actually. Trying to review the news every day, I'm just always dumbfounded by what's coming next at us. So there was also Clayton Morris of Redacted that I wanted to bring up, and it was Trump and Putin stunned the world. Europe faces civilizational erasure within 20 years, and NATO is over. There's a lot of that talk. I do feel like the 2030s are going to get really, really, really crazy bumpy. I really do. And I've said that over and over again on the show for a long time, actually, for years. I've thought that for a long time, that it's going to get a little nuts in the 2030s. And the process of we were talking about spiritual things earlier, the process of kind of like the last days for those that believe in Christ, I believe in Christ, is over a period of time. and not significantly quick. And I don't think it's going to be very, very fast. So I think it's going to take a significant amount of time. But I just want to share those thoughts with you today. It's I'm really grateful Scott came on, because I think that it's really important to get back to those basics, especially at Christmas time when we're talking about Christ's birth and celebrating that. And we say Merry Christmas because it is a Merry Christmas, and it was the event that truly saved us. And him coming and engaging in the atonement, very, very important to Christians all over the world. And this is a time when I notice people are a little nicer to each other and a little better. Kind of reminds me of the Scrooged outtake, they're like a little kinder and a little nicer. But I so appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you can kind of see that with people and understand that there's a good spirit to this time of year. And I'm trying to get into it a little bit more this year. It's been a little tougher this year, but I'm truly grateful for this Christmas season. Tomorrow I have Susan coming on. Melissa is out tomorrow. And of course, we're going to take callers tomorrow. So I just want you to know that you can call into the show, and I'm more than happy to answer your call. And also you can call in live, because every day at 2:00 Mountain, or not every day, 3 days a week, I'm actually doing the show live from my website, which is katedalleyradio.com. And then, of course, I'm doing it on these avenues as well. So you got StreamYard, which goes to YouTube and X and Rumble. So just to let you know, it's live every day. You can also catch it on the Facebook channel, Kate Dalley Show Facebook channel as well. I want to encourage you to go over to katetalks.myshopify.com and go get that cancer ebook, okay? The censors keep taking me down. I swear to you, this is like the hardest thing to get out there is anything medical. If you're talking about anything medical, the censors go nuts. They want you to engage in pharma. Bottom line. Just how it goes. So I'm just here to tell you that that ebook, if you were to get cancer, you would want this 14 pages of pure gold as far as telling you what to do, coming from the best holistic doctors in the world. This is the book, okay? And it has all of these bits of information that you really, truly need to know if you want to do it naturally. So go to katetalks.myshopify.com, and that link is right at katedalleyradio.com. Also, Cardio Miracle. Scott actually takes Cardio Miracle. We were talking about it before the show, because I have a bottle right here, and I was laughing because he was like, "It's changed my life. This is amazing. I love this stuff." And I didn't know he was drinking it. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I do it twice a day and I love it. And sometimes 3 times a day. And it's an amazing product. Cardio Miracle is amazing." And my husband went in and got some of his, hope he doesn't mind me saying this, got some of his numbers, on blood work and things like that. And all his numbers, he has been doing this, I think, for 2.5 months. Cardio Miracle, all his numbers were perfect. I mean, I was just like, your numbers are fantastic, And the only thing he changed was taking Cardio Miracle twice a day. So I'm like, if there's any proof in the pudding, it's the numbers, right? It's the numbers. So please, by any means, go to cardiomiracle.com/Kate, and it's a mineral delivery system to your body. It actually puts the minerals in your cells, which is what we truly need right now to stay healthy. Okay. So please go over there and get some, because I know you're going to feel really good. And I love all your success stories coming in, by the way. They're really fun to read. So I also just wanted to answer a question. I paid for the cancer ebook and I can't find it. So whatever email that you put in is the email that it goes to. So when you go to buy it online, and this is so that you can print it out if you want to print it out, or you can just keep it on your computer and download it, but it's going to go to whatever email you send it to. So check your junk file for the cancer ebook, okay? And put in... put in deep dive research, or put in Kate Talks My Shopify, and it should come up if you do a search for your email, it should come up. So it's probably in your junk folder. It's probably where it got sent. And if there's a problem, send me an email at kate@katedalleyradio.com, and I will make sure that you get it anyway. But go ahead and try that, okay? Because I've only had a couple of people reach out with that problem, but in any case, you can go grab it. And there are more ebooks coming. I've had a little bit to deal with, so I haven't been able to get to them as handily. So I really appreciate your patience with that. And also, I will see you tomorrow. So thanks, you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night tonight. Also, my gosh, be faithful, be fearless. Find out why I say that on every show since 2016. You can find the story to that on katedalleyradio.com. And I'll see you here tomorrow, same time, same bat channel, 2 o'clock Mountain, 4 o'clock Eastern. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Really appreciate you guys.